Good morning. Today we are discussing about database management system concepts. A database management system is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs to access those data. Collection of data is referred to as a database. Primary goal of DBMS is provide a way to store and retrieve database information that is both convenient and efficient. DBMS allows us to define a structure for storage of information and also provides mechanism to manipulate this information. DBMS also provides safety for the information stored despite system crashes or attempts to of authorized access. These are some problems specified in you are facing DBMS storage. What is the meaning of database? A database is a collection of data and a management system is a set of programs to store and retrieve those data. What is the database? A database is a collection of data and management system is a set of programs to store and retrieve those data. Based on this, we can define a DBMS like DBMS. What is the DBMS? Is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs to store and access the data in an easy and effective manner. You can discuss some basic points of types of database management system DBMS. Some different types of database management systems. On that one, you have first discussed a hierarchical database management system. Second one is the relational database management system, that is the DBMS, that is known as RDBMS. Third one is the network DBMS, and fourth one is object oriented DBMS. On that one, you discussed a hierarchical database management system. This type of database management system showcases as a style of procedures successor type of relationship. You can consider it to be similar to a tree where the nodes of the tree represent records and the branches of the tree represent fields. Once again, you see the hierarchical database management. What is the hierarchical? It is the database management system showcases as a style of preceders and successors type of relationship. You can consider it is to be similar to a tree. What are the tree? In tree generally have a root nodes and branches where the nodes of the tree represent a records. In this type of hierarchical database, in the root nodes treated as a represents as a records, and the branches of the tree represent a fields. These are the second part. Then go to the RDBMS, that is a relational database management system. This type of database management system has a structure which allows the users of to identify and access data in relation to another piece of data in the database. In this type of DBMS, the data is stored in the form of tables. Next one, what the RDBMS? Once again, you can see that in this type of database management system has a structure which allows the users to identify and access data in a relation to another piece of data in the database. In this type of database management system, the data is stored in the form of tables. Next, then go to the third one, that is the network DBMS. This type of database management system supports many to many relations where multiple users records can be linked. Next, then go to the fourth one, that is the object oriented DBMS. This type of database management system uses small individual software called objects. Here, each object contains piece of data and the instructions for the actions to be done with the data. What is the object oriented database management system? This type of database management system uses small individual softwares called objects. In object oriented, small individual objects, individual software called objects. Here each object contains a piece of data and the instructions for the actions to be done with the data. Then here discussed about the structure of database management system. Structure of database management system. Structure of database management system. A DBMS database management system acts as a interface between the user and the database. The user requests the database management to perform the various operations. DBMS database management system acts as a interface between the user and the database. The user requests the database management system to perform various operations. What are the operations? Insert, delete, update, and the retrieval. These are generally operations of database management. Insert, delete, update, and retrieval on the database. The components of DBMS perform those requested operations on the database and provide necessary data to the user. The various components of DBMS you can discuss it with some small diagram. On that one, what are some functions also you can discuss it here. Functions of database management system. Functions of database management systems. In this, there are several functions that a DBMS perform to ensure the data integrity, consistency of data in the database. The 10 functions in the DBMS are data dictionary management system, data storage management system, data transformation and presentation, security management, multi-user access control, backup and recovery management, data integrity management, database access languages, and application programming interfaces, database communication interfaces, and transaction management. And that one we can discuss today. First one, what is the data dictionary management? Data dictionary is where the DBMS stores information, that is the data elements and their relationship, metadata. What are that one? Data dictionary is where the DBMS store definitions of the data elements and their relationship. And it is the metadata. The DBMS uses the function to look up the required data components, structures, and relationship. When program access the data in the database, they are basically going through the DBMS. This function removes structured and data dependency and provides the users with the data abstraction. In turn, this makes things a lot easier on the end user. The data dictionary is often hidden from the user and is used by database administrator and programmers. Next, then go to the data storage management system. This particular function is used for the storage of data and many related data entry forms or screen definitions, report definitions, data validation, roles, procedure code, and structures that can handle video and picture formats. Users do not need to know how data is stored or manipulated. Users do not need to know how data is stored or manipulated. Also involved with this structure is a term called performance tuning that relates to database efficiency in relational to storage and access speed. Data transformation and presentation. This function exists to transform any data entered into required data structure. By using the data transformation and a presentation function, the DBMS can determine the difference between logical and physical data formats. What are the data transformation and presentation? This function exists to transfer any data entered into a required data structure. By using the data transformation and the presentation function, The DBMS can determine the difference between logical and physical data formats. Logical and digital formats. Security management. This is one of the most important functions in the DBMS security management. Sets a rules that determine specific users that are allowed to access the database. Users are given in a username and passwords, or sometimes through the biometric authentication. Biometric authentication, such as a fingerprint or retina scan. But those types of authentication tend to be more costly. These functions also sets restraint on what specific data any user can be see or manage. What are the security management and security management? This is the one of the most important function in the DBMS. Security management sets a rules that determine specific users that allow to access the database. Users are given a username and password or some through the biometric authentication. Then you can go to the multi-user access control. Data integrity and data constraints are the basis of the function. Multi-user access control is very useful tool in the DBMS. It enables multiple users to access the database simultaneously without affecting the integrity of the database. Without integrity of the database. What are the multi-user access control? Data integrity and data consistency are the basis of the function. Multi-user access control is a very useful tool in the DBMS. It enables the multi-user to access the database simultaneously without affecting the integrity of the database. Next, then go to the backup and recovery management. Backup and recovery is brought to mind whenever there is a potential outside threats to database. For example, if there is a power outage, recovery management is how long it takes to recover the database. After the outage, backup and management refers to the database. Backup management refers to the data safety and integrity. For example, backup all your MP3 files to on the disk. Into the disk. Then you can go to the next one, that is the seventh one, data integrity management. The DBMS enforces these rules to reduce the things such as a data redundancy, which is when the data is stored in more than one place unnecessary, and maximize the data consistency, making sure database is returning correct same answers each time for the same question asked. What are the integrity management? The DBMS enforces these rules to reduce things such as data redundancy, which is when data is stored in more than one place unnecessarily, and maximize the data consistency, making sure data is returning correct same answers each time for same questions asked. Database access languages and application program interface. This is the eighth one, that is database access languages and application program interfaces. A query language is non-procedural language. An example of this SQL, structured query language. SQL is the most common query language supported by the majority of the DBMS vendors. The uses of this language makes it easy for this refers to how the database can accept this can be easily interrelated internet. A query language is a non-procedural language. An example of this SQL, structured query language. SQL is the most common query language supported by the majority of the DBMS vendors. The use of this language make it easy for user to specify what they want done without the headache of explain how to specifically do it. Database communication interfaces. This refers to how a DBMS can accept different end users requests through different network environments, and examples of this can be easily related to the internet. A DBMS can provide access to the database using the internet through the web browsers. What are the web browsers? Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator. What are the DBMS communication interfaces? This refers to how a DBMS can accept different and user requests through different network environments. An example this can be easily related to the internet. A DBMS can provide access to the database using the internet through the web browsers, that is the Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator. Transaction management. This is the 10th one and last one of database management functions. A transaction is a series of database operations carried out by single user or application programmer which access or changes the content of the database. Therefore, a DBMS must provide a mechanism to ensure either that all the update corresponding to given transaction are made or that none of them is made. What are the transaction management? A transaction management is a series of database operations carried out by single user or application programmers which access or change the content of the database. Therefore, a DBMS must provide a mechanism to ensure either that all updates on corresponding to given transactions are made or that none of them is made. These are some database management functions of DBMS management system. Then you are discussed about another one important one, that is a file-based system. It is one of the most very important of file-based management system. A file management system is a DBMS that allows access to single files or tables at a time. In file system, data is directly stored in set of files. What are the term? Data is directly stored in a set of files. It contains flat files that have no relation to the other files. When only one table is stored in a single file, then this file is known as the flat file. What is the file management system? The management is a DBMS that allows access to single files or tables at a time. In a file system, data is directly stored in a set of files. It contains flat files that have no relation to other files. When only one table is stored in a single file, then this file is known as the flat file. What are the advantages of file-based system? The file-based system is not a complicated and is just simple to use. The file-based system is not complicated and is simple to use. Because of the above point, this system is quite inexpensive. Because the file-based system is simple and cheap, it is normally suitable for home users and owners of small businesses. Since the file-based system is used by smaller organizations or individual users, it stores comparatively lesser amount of data. Hence the data can be accessed faster and more easily. These are four generally advantages of file-based system. The file-based system is not complicated and is simple to use. Because of the above point, this system is quite inexpensive because the file-based system is simple and cheap. It is normally suitable for home users and owners of small businesses. Since the file-based system is used by smaller organizations or individual users or store comparatively lesser amount of data, hence the data can be accessed faster and more easily. Then you can discuss about disadvantages of file-based system. The file-based system is limited to a smaller size and cannot store large amount of data. What are the disadvantages? The file-based system is limited to a smaller size and cannot store large amount of data. This is the main disadvantage. It is not store a large amount of data. It is a smaller in size. This system is relatively uncomplicated, but this means it cannot support complicated queries, data recovery, and etc. This system is relatively uncomplicated, but this means it cannot support complicated queries and data recovery, etc. There may be redundant data in the file-based system as it does not have complex mechanism to get rid of it. The data is not very secure in a file-based system and may be corrupted or destroyed. The data files in the file-based system may be stored across multiple locations. Consequently, it is difficult to share the data easily with multiple users. What is the file-based system? A file management system, a DBMS, that allows access to single files or tables at a time. These are some disadvantages. It is also sometimes they are also asked about what are the differentiate between file-based and flat-based. What is the file-based? And the file-based system is not complicated and simple to use. This is the main one. The file-based system is limited to smaller. It is not complicated, but it is a similar smaller size and cannot store large amount of data. It is a simple, but it is not a smaller. Okay, these are some problems. Because the above point, this system is quite inexpensive. It is not very cheap compared to other systems. Because the file-based system is simple and is cheap, it is normally suitable for home users and owners of small business. In general, you have any softwares, you have used a large amount of data. For example, in network system, mobiles. Once upon a time, you have in storage of you are using the floppies. That is a 44 MB. Then you can use them within a small chip, that is a small pen drive, has up to 16 GB, 32 GB, 64 GB, and 128 GB, 256 GB in a small chip. These are some latest advantages we are using. These are file-based systems. What are the topics we discussed today? That is the introduction of database management system, then meaning of database and types of database management systems, structure of database management systems, and functions of data management system. That is the 10 points. What are the 10 points? In data dictionary management, data storage management, data transaction and presentation, security management, multi-access control, backup and recovery management, data integrity management, data access language and application program interfaces, database communication interfaces, transaction management. Then finally we can go for one structure of database management system. What are the structures? You can see that diagram in the, you have some applications, end users, DDL, data definition. And what are the applications? These are what are the uses we usually you are using by using the database management system. End users means that is a end users means application. You have some requirement from the, for example, you are getting the end users means at the time of result, after completion of your final semester you can write the exam and result is released by university. At the time you are searching for the result for the fail or pass. For that time you are the end users. Applications, end users, DDL. What is the end users connections? It is a DML compiler, query optimizations. What is the data manipulation language? DDL is compared to DDL compiler. Then what are that on this total diagram is known as the DBMS functions. And that one DML compiler, query optimization, DDL compiler, store data manager. And that we have a data files connection stored, that is the data manager, that is the store data manager is the data files, compile DML, data dictionary. These are some connections we have a data. These are here we discussed in database management system concept, structure of database management system. And that when you have all these functionalities, you are getting some key points of database management system, DBMS. These are some database management points you are discussed on that one. You have in this one. Then you have advantage of DBMS overall file-based system. The advantages of DBMS overall file system is as follows: reducing data redundancy, sharing data, data integrity, data security, privacy, backup and recovery, data consistency. These are some advantages of DBMS over file-based system. In previous we have discussed a file-based system. This is the advantages of DBMS overall file-based system. What is the redundancy? Reducing data redundancy. The file-based data management system contain multiple files that were stored in many different locations in a system or even across multiple systems. Because of this, there were sometimes multiple copies of the same file, which lead to data redundancy. This is prevented in a database, as there is a single database and any change in it is reflected immediately. Because of this, there is no chance encountering the duplicate data. What are that? By using the data redundancy, you are eliminating the duplicate of data. Next one, then go to the sharing data. In a database, the users of the database can share the data among themselves. There are various levels of authorizations to access the data, and consequently, the data can only be shared based on the correct authorizations protocols being followed. Many remote users can also access the database simultaneously and share the data between themselves. Then you are going the data integrity. Data integrity means that the data is accurate and consistent in the database. Data integrity is very important as there are multiple databases in DBMS. All of the database contain data that is visible to multiple users. So it is necessary to ensure that the data is correct and consistent in all of the database and for all the users. Then you go to the data security. The data security is vital concept in a database. Only authorized users should be allowed to access the database, and their identity should be authenticated using the username and password. Username and password. And unauthorized users should not be allowed to access the database under any circumstance, as it violates the integrity constraints. Then you can go to the privacy. The privacy rule is in database means only the authorized users can access a database according to its privacy and constraints. There are levels of database access, and a user can only view the data he allowed to. For example, in a social networking sites, X constraints are different for different accounts. A user may want to access. Then we are going to the backup and recovery. A database management system simultaneously that is automatically takes care of backup and recovery. The users do not need to backup and periodically because this is taken care of by the DBMS. Moreover, it also restores the database after a crash or a system failure to its previous conditions. Then you are going to the finally, that is the data consistency. That is data consistency. It is the data consistency is ensured in a database because there is no data redundancy. All the data appears consistently X the database, and the data is same for all the users viewing the database. Moreover, any changes made to the database are immediately reflected to all the users, and there is no data inconsistently. That is the data inconsistently. Thank you for session.